Alright, let's get Friday's daily puzzle on chess.com a shot. This one's called Slicing Through the Defense. It's white to move. Get the video pause and try it yourself if you feel like it. Cool. So, checks, I've got this. Then, not really thinking about that, but that is one. So there's some interesting ones here. Definitely some checks available. This is definitely the one that would call to me the most. King's got, what, 2 moves there? Here or here? I don't know about that. I think maybe this is more interesting. But the king, again, I don't really know. Like, once the king goes over here, I don't really see exactly what I'm doing. Feels like this might open stuff up, though. I do have this square protected by a lot of pieces, so what else is going on here? So it looks like I'm down a rook. We each have 3 pieces, and I don't have a rook. So my inkling here would be that it was a checkmate. I think I'm probably not winning material, unless maybe I can win the queen. Maybe that's an idea. Like, maybe eventually I could, like, skewer the king and win the queen. Alright, so if I push this pawn, the king has 2 moves. Remains the same if the pawn were to take and the bishop takes. I don't think my bishop's taking away all that many important squares right now anyway, so I think this, either way, whether the pawn takes or not, I feel like it's a pretty similar situation. So let's consider the king on either of these 2 squares. Like, I just don't really see, the queen could swing over here if the king was on this square. If the king goes to this square, what do I do? Like, I have one more check, it's with the knight, but the pawn just takes and it seems like all is well. I guess if the bishop ended up here, this would be a threat. But again, yeah, if I go here, the pawn doesn't have to take. So is there a reason? Maybe I could do this and then that would open up my queen? Is that something to think about? Okay. So if I went here with the bishop first, the king actually doesn't have access to this square. Oh. Okay, maybe that's it. Okay. So if I go here and the pawn takes, is this a threat? So if here, queen takes, I don't even really see what that would do, honestly. King just ends up having a lot of moves. I was thinking if the king went here, I might have something with the skewer, but I think the bishop could even just block that. Okay, so, I don't know. Might return to that. That seems like an interesting idea. It's definitely got the most stuff happening from what I've looked at so far. Maybe I just go here first to set that up, because this knight really isn't participating in anything. And then, if that was the case, this pawn being out of the way seemed like it might be important. So if I go here, and the king went here, I just don't really see what I'm doing there. This is tough. Black doesn't have any immediate threats. I don't think black even has any checks, honestly. Like, this knight jump is relatively forcing it. Like, either the pawn has to take, or the king has to go here. There's only 2 moves. But why does the king being on this square make any difference? The only check that I have is this. I think I have to come back to this. This is the only, like, interesting looking thing that I see. Seems like there's some stuff happening here. So if I go here, pawn takes, queen gets in, yeah, and then the king has a bunch of moves. I hadn't thought about a queen sack yet. I don't really like that, though. Ooh, okay. I hadn't thought about the knight jump. That might be setting up a mate here. Yeah, wait a second. If the knight jumps in, the king can't move. If the pawn takes, is that better for some reason? Yeah, I think I need my queen up here, and then my bishop combining might work. Okay, wait a second. So this threatens mate on this square if black doesn't do anything. And the king is stuck. The king can't move at all. So I think the pawn has to take that. I guess the bishop could come back here, though. Then do I have this check, this? Yeah, that's kind of insane. Okay. I'm really feeling like it's this. And I don't think there's a way to stop it. Because I have 2 different checkmates. This would result in checkmate as well, because the pawn would have to take, and then this would be checkmate. So if I go here, I'm threatening mate here, so the pawn probably has to take that. After the pawn takes, bishop here. If the king goes here, this is mate. And that's the king's only move. That works, I think. I'm going for it. Awesome. Okay, so pawn takes. That was what I was expecting. Okay, and then this forces the king here, and this is mate. Tough one, dude. The last thing I looked at, it just wasn't a check. I was stuck on checks forever. All right, let's run that back one time. Cool. So really struggled with this one. There's kind of it feels like there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of checks. I mean, I don't know, all sorts of different stuff. And like this square just is very interesting. I was thinking about what if I push the pawn? What if I like go here with the bishop? The knight's hopping. Like there's all sorts of stuff going on here. And I looked at this line for a really long time, trying to make this happen. The pawn and the bishop specifically. Then I finally thought about the knight. This isn't a check, but the king is stuck. The knight takes away two really important squares from the king and threatens checkmate with the queen on this square. So if I go here and the pawn doesn't take, like black has this. Oh, that doesn't work at all. Actually, the pawn protects. So yeah, after this, the pawn pretty much has to take. Otherwise, I'm checkmating on the next move. So after the pawn takes, I've got this move with the bishop, and then the king has one move, but it's made on the next move. So really forcing move with the knight that was difficult to find because it wasn't a check, but got there eventually. And that's a checkmate, dog. There it is. Thanks for watching. Catch you later.